Hello, medium fans! So, we've got an interesting deck here today. I go over it a lot in the deck tech down in the description, so I would recommend checking that out. But this is a deck that I made in concert with a sub-epic legion who won the last Tournament of Power. Although this is definitely my own brew, it was inspired by some things that he wanted to see done. And we're going to be trying to do a lot of copying of a lot of FJP units. I'm going to keep this. I'm not sure that that's correct. It's probably not. This one's a little bit dicey. I'm hoping with all of these crests that we might be able to do something, and I'm definitely going to pledge the Loyalist so we get Bearguard Bayonet online. Basically, we need to draw Hojan. If we can draw Hojan, this hand is insane. If we don't draw Hojan, well, things get a little bit dicier. But we have a display of honor in our hand, and Bearguard Bayonet is just really nasty a lot of the time, so I kind of like that. I'm going to bottom the Vanquisher's Blade. Our plan here, though, is to make a lot of, like, mirror and image kind of copies of things like Vargo and the new Svetya, Merciful Orene, cards like that, and kind of overwhelm our opponent with some really, really nasty mid-range stuff. And we've got, like, you look at the market, you can see some pretty deep cards, Quicksilver Mirror and Martyr's Chains. I don't know if I want another Crest here. Let me just think about this. So next turn, we can just play Vargo off the Primal Sigil, which might be correct. I think that that's going to be. In which case, do I really want a Crest? It does get me closer to Palace, but I've got Bearguard Bayonet to do that. So no, we can just bottom that. We only have 9 Crests in the deck, so it's a little bit awkward to have 4 already. We don't want too many depleted powers. I tried to play a little bit less on the depleted power side so that we could curve out a little bit better in this deck. This is kind of nasty. Opponents... Ooh, wow. I like this. I actually knocked around an idea of a ramp FJP deck that was running this kind of a list, so this is pretty sweet to see. Now we have the Hojan. Huh. That is very interesting. Do I just play the Hojan? It means that I could try and get... So if I Hojan now, then I can Bearguard and Bayonet next turn. I'm going to try and do it.
Never break.
I don't want a Bayonet right now. Another Bearguard. Or another Vargo, sorry. I mean, what's better than 1 Vargo than 2? Pass the turn and see what our opponent's up to. Ooh, nasty. That's really sick. Alright. At least it means they can't, like, torch plus snowball a Vargo. Wouldn't have been able to necessarily anyways, because of Bearguard Bayonet. That sucked. However, we are going to be able to Palace next turn. And I don't know that they can actually get rid of Vargo here. It's possible they grabbed something like Permafrost, but if they did that, we've got the Palace. They might have something really big and nasty here. Yeah, that's fine. Get to gun it down, but we have another Vargo as backup. Or Aniyah. I think that we just go with another Vargo. They can't have more Howling Peaks right now.
Who says you can't play with fire?
Opponent's had a great start, though. Really good deck. Howling Peak is still insane. Talked about that lots before. Now if they have a torch, they just get the Vargo as well. Hopefully they don't have that insane of a draw. We just need 1 turn. Yeah, alright. They have a really nice one. Play the Aniyah. Lock 1 thing down. And hope we just need 1 turn of respite.
Something catch your eye.
Going to market again, though, almost certainly means that Aniyah is just dead. I don't know how we can beat that. I mean, I could have Howling Peaked and held up Display of Honor, but that doesn't help us do anything. They got something with Echo. Thunderstrike Dragon? What would that be? Okay. And it couldn't have been a hurler in their market, because they already had one in hand at the start of the game. Yeah, there's no way I can block that. Granted, I think that if they had any kind of a spell that dealt damage, then they would have already used it, but there's no way that I can call that bluff. I need Aniyah to live. Caleb's gonna be nasty here too. We're in a lot of trouble.
On guard.
At least they have a 10-10. At least they have a 10-10, I mean. Oof. The lifesteal could be huge here.
Surrender.
So we need to hope that they don't have, like, double Vanquish. And then we can hold up the Display of Honor. Maybe Red Canyon Smuggler for... I'd love something like Quicksilver Mirror or even Sudden Schism. Eileen, yep.
United.
Good news is I can just turn that into a 2-1. The Imperial Loyalist is interesting.
Finest weapons in Myria.
Kind of like going for Sudden Schism, or maybe even Quicksilver Mirror here. Or we could just go Howling Peak, I suppose. Got a lot of options. Alright, I think... we do have the Martyr's Chains. We're way off from playing it, though. Yeah, I'm gonna have to Howling Peak. I'll keep the Loyalist. And we just have to pass. They're going to be incentivized to attack with the Eileen. Yeah. And I'll give this lifesteal. And they obviously have spells, but unless they have two spells that'll actually pop the Aegis on this, we get to eat the Vara. Or Eileen.
You are weak, clan will survive.
Okay. Made it through the Howling Peak. There are a million cards up on us, but we have our own Howling Peak at least. Ooh, they didn't have it at fast speed? Is that the problem? Wow. Double torch, huh? Yeah, Caleb's just such a big game here. Whew. I mean, they're down to 3 cards now. And I'm gonna Howling Peak, and I'm just gonna immediately Mirror Image. I know we could Gun Down, but we can stun it instead, and we still have the Aegis, and it's a 10-10, so that seems pretty good for us. I'm not gonna bother attacking the Howling Peak, because it doesn't really do anything anymore. I just want to start dealing them as much damage as I can. I maybe should have kept the... I should have actually kept the Smuggler instead of the Imperial Loyalist, though. I will admit that. It was better to use the Mirror Image here. I was thinking that I'd maybe use it on the Loyalist, but... I mean, Aniyah is just so much better with Withstand already. Alright, now... I was gonna say, did they get... Kenna is bad, but not too miserable. I was really, really worried they would do the End of Hostilities and copy Aniyah, because that would be scary. Like, don't want them to have that. This is still really nasty, obviously. But at least they can't really kill either of these unless they fight both of them onto it. And in the meantime... I'm just gonna do this.
Who says you can't play with fire?
Vanquish the big one. Could make it 12. It sucks they're just gonna keep getting Kennas forever. I can force them to chump block. I can even give Overwhelm to this one. Make it 13.
On guard.
I think that I like keeping up the pressure. Oh, did they just...
Surrender.
Alright! Woo, woo, woo. Whoops! Yeah, oh boy. That didn't seem like a game that we necessarily had in the bag, but sometimes that happens. Whew, yeah, so sometimes games like that, your opponent just makes a big mistake, and you get to win. We take those. They are free. Ooh, this is interesting. We get to pledge, and then we can play Hojan, but it has to be on turn 3. There's gotta be a better hand than that. It's just too scary. If we had a Bear Guard Bayonet, maybe. Huh. Some really awkward draws here. I'm gonna keep this. We're on the draw. We do get to scout. And if we hit one power card, we've got a lot of options. That's not exactly what I'd like to do. I guess Crest is fine. Oh no. Glasshopper with the pledge. Nice. If they're like a Diogo style spell deck, though, we might be able to punish them because Svetya's off of Korovyat Palace is really good there. Oh. Ugh. That is a lot of value, though. Yikes. Oh. Yikes, yikes, yikes. This is going to be a very tough game, it looks like. Well, well, well. I could trade one of the palaces for, like, a Howling Peak, maybe? Smuggler? Which Smuggler would I want to play? I guess Red Canyon, I guess.
Finest weapons in Syria.
And I think I had to change a palace. It's better to have one of each just for various problems that we can come across here rather than having two of the same. Yup. I can change that into a 2-1 before they draw. That being said, we do have Imperial Loyalist and we can Display of Honor onto it next turn. And that way we're just setting it up where we've got another Smuggler off of it immediately and we get to kill that. Problem is we're letting them draw a bunch of cards doing that, so I don't love that plan. I think I just have to change it.
Trust in your allies.
Just make it a goat. I don't love this, but I'll trade for the 2-4. It's making their units cheaper anyways. And it's kind of a threat here. Yep, there's another one. I was kind of thinking they had that. This is way too many palaces. Ugh. I can make it a 2-1 again. And I actually think that's okay. At least then Imperial Loyalist blocks everything. They're not gaining any extra cards on us this way. It's definitely not ideal, but I don't have any ideal plays here. An ideal play would be power cards. Power cards would be good.
Drink up! Life's too short!
Alright. And it's not a particularly exciting card, but it kind of blocks. They have to have removal. And they do. That wasn't what they got out of the market either. So that's pretty bad. Haha. We might still have a chance. It's going to be really hard, because if they have removal for the Aniyah, which they likely do, then we're just dead. If not, and we draw a power card, maybe? Maybe. Okay, that's kind of a good sign. They're not just immediately going to the market with this. Ah, there's the display. Okay, so they already had it. So they're just showing us a bunch of extra cards for no reason. Just rubbing it in. Fair enough. Sometimes you get a good hand, you want to rub it in a little bit. That was a good win. We needed just a little bit more power. I could have mulliganed down to 6, but sometimes that's what happens. Move on to the next game. Ooh, boy, another 2-power hand with... well, 1-power hand with pledges, and with the Crest again. We're not drawing any... There's... Okay, at least you have an Ixtun cargo this time. This one I will keep. I'm not super pumped about it, but it's been a lot better than our last few. Don't want Hojan, I just need power. I mean, we're a little bit low on power in this deck, but we do have the Bearguard Bayonets, and we've got a bunch of Hojans. This shouldn't be as hard as it is. Go for the Justice Sigil here. Yeah, I should have gone... Maybe I should have gone for Primal. I wanted to have it for Vanquisher's Blade, but we're going to get off of these because of Display of Honor. We're going to be able to get Justice. It's a tough one. I mean, just a really awkward hand again.
Never stop. Never
The Mirror Image is a fun card to have here. Could do a lot of work with that. That'd be really nice as a Bearguard Bayonet. Yeah.
I will have justice.
This'll do the trick.
That's super nasty for us. We need these to stick around so that we can possibly ramp. I could Hojan and immediately Vanquisher's Blade. That does get us to 5. That doesn't necessarily help us right now, though.
Never
This is a
stop.
tough one. I'm gonna pass. Like, if they have another torch, it's just such a blowout. And even getting to 5 doesn't necessarily help us that much. We don't have a palace or anything in our hand, and it would still get us to 5, not 6. So, I'd rather wait.
A great fight.
Smuggler. I imagine they get removal then for this. Yep.
I will have justice.
Yeah, these hands have just been a little bit rough.
Finest weapons in
So,
area.
Smuggler, and I guess we'll go Howling Peak. Hopefully we'll draw power cards at some point. Those Bearguard Bayonets or Ixtuns would be nice too, like Ixtun Cargo. Some really, really tough draws for us this time, though. Oh, wow. Wait, what? Lava Blood Goliath and Champion of Fury, huh? Well, I mean, it's getting us. I've got the Display of Honor to gain lifelink, so I actually just want to do that. Wow. Yep, we're just stuck passing the turn. Very, very stuck on power. Facing down some nasty cards here. I like the where this deck is going, though. This is very interesting. Another Smuggler. Wow. Yeah, we are getting bodied really, really hard with this incredible draw. Now, what kind of removal spell do they have now? They might just go for Howling Beak. I would definitely not be surprised if that's the case. We're going to block and give this life gains, so at least we're kind of fighting back. It buys us a bunch of time. It puts us back to 21 life.
This'll do the trick.
Yeah, they would have certainly have gone for the Howling Peak here. I so desperately need power. Don't know if there's any way out of this. Anything in the market just doesn't really matter. We could go for like a Sudden Schism or Vanquisher's Blade, I suppose, but they don't really do a lot. Display of Honor doesn't even save it because it doesn't help when they've got 2 Howling Peak Smugglers empowering their Howling Peak's gun down, so it's going to be 7. Yeah, this is just a very tough game.
Weapons in area.
I'll go for the Vanquisher's Blade just because there's not really a lot else for us to do. They'll play their Howling Peak. Yep. And I think I just take the damage. We'll have to put a Vanquisher's Blade on it and hope that that can do us some good for chump blocks. Or if they're gonna do this, we draw the Imperial Loyalist. That's not a bad hand for us. We can just slam in like this. Play our own Imperial Loyalist. They're obviously gonna block. I'm willing to trade that.
Drink up. Life's too short.
They get to go to the market again. But they've done it twice. There might not be anything super relevant for them right away. Something like a Zalchi, maybe. Which would be really, really, really bad.
Great find.
But if I can Display of Honor, we might still have a chance. Display of Honor or Mirror Image it. I don't know. Hard to battle back from this one. Staff of the Archmagister. Hello. That's interesting. Wow. Okay, well, pretty easy trade there. If we draw a power card, we still have a chance. We just need to get even a little bit lucky. Well, never mind. An Howling Peak Smuggler or something. I don't really want to smuggle. I guess that will just Hojan.
Drink up. Life's too short.
And we'll attack that. Force them to chump. We can chump block Hojan on the 9/8.
Who says you can't play with fire?
Hope they didn't draw anything too insane. Or sorry, 10/8, thanks to the Archmagisters. That's a sweet combo. I love that. It'd be really cool if we could get them, though. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a really good one. Oh, no. And they hit Zoe. Yeah, this is unfortunately... Oh. Song? Okay. I mean, that's also a lot more cards for them, which is still a problem. But it's better for us that they're doing this. Attacking with the 2/2 still. Why would they do that? They're just throwing it away. I mean, they obviously have to have something. If they have something, then why don't they just kill us? I don't understand this.
Justice.
Oh, come on. Give me a break. Game, please. Well, sometimes these are tough. Actually, proper way to do this is attack this way. Let that happen.
Life's too short.
I'd chump block with the one that's got renown. It's better to do the depleted renown rather than the one that actually just has it already, right? At least now we finally have the Vanquisher's Blade online, so that's something, as long as I don't have more to do. Down to 1! Ooh, boy. Alright. We do get another Hojan. We can trade this 6/5 for their 6/6. Another Echo card. Display of Honor might be able to save us. Nah, we just get snowballed. Alright, fair enough. We almost managed to battle back despite the incredible mana screw. We tried to do what we could. Close game. If we almost stabilized there, like it was really close. If we untapped and they didn't have a way to kill us, then the Display of Honor can gain us a lot of life back, and we might have had a way to get back into that game. We just needed a lot more power a lot earlier. Whew! It's a hand that has 2 power and a pledge. That is far better than what we've been getting, so I'm going to keep it. I think that we go for a pledge of Primal here. That might have been wrong. We might have wanted to curve into the Howling Peak Smuggler. So if we went with the Justice instead, then we get Cetus Fury. When we have Hojan, because it gets us Primal cards already, or sorry, because it gets us Justice cards already, I don't really like pledging for Justice. And I know that we're going to need double Primal for things like Palace. This is interesting. Yeah, I should have still just bitten the bullet and gone for the Justice on that one. I'm going to wait. We'll go for Red Canyon. I don't have any way to trigger this yet, so I'm going to spend a moment. Oh, wow. Another combustion cell. We can go for Boar. Definitely need to find some power again. With 27 power cards and, like, with 10 or 12 in pledge cards, this shouldn't be as hard as it is. Just some tricky draws here for us. I'm going to take the Boar. If we can get a power card, that'd be great, because then we can Boar and then Howling Peak Smuggler the Boar copy back into our market. We do not. Think I have to get rid of that anyways.
Never stop, never break.
And I'll discard it. They're obviously on Kenedans, and I really don't want them to have the combustion cell. It's just way too much of their engine. Letting them have that seems like a death sentence. Hoofda. Well, I'm going to attack with both. They're almost certainly incentivized to block Hojan. And we can Display of Honor it and at least get up to 4, so that'll let us play the Loyalist. Yeah. These blocks are good for us. The triple block on the 2/2 is nice, because then we just get an extra unit out of this as well. Glad that wasn't a torch. Still pretty good. We get a lot of life total padding for that. They don't have any Grenadins to use anymore, which is good.
I will have justice.
And that's actually fine. Hojan wasn't doing anything for us anymore now. We already got the extra power out of it. The life gain would be fine, but we don't have any way to empower it, so...
Drink up! Life's too short!
It's fine for us. I really, really, really hope we can draw a couple power cards in a row. Nice. Permafrost is great for us. If we can get the power cards, then Palace very easily saves us there. Just need those power cards. I'm going to go Howling Peak Smuggler. Trade the Vanquish and get Schism, though. That might seem a little bit weird to trade off Vanquish, but generally they're going to get Kenna, and when they get Kenna, it kind of doesn't matter if I have Vanquish or not. Because I can just copy it over and over and over. Certainly not trading. And Sudden Schism on this is nice so that we can get Vargo. Yeah. Just really not getting these power cards, huh? If they have the copies, we are in a lot of trouble. Yeah, they have end of hostilities. Alright, unfortunately that's just the game for us. Just can't draw any power cards. It happens. I mean, I really thought that we'd draw more than one power that game. Actually, we didn't even draw power. We had to get it off of Hojan. And it's just unfortunate. Well, we have Strategize. We have the Bearguard Bayonet to try and pump. We don't have Fire for Red Canyon. I'm still going to keep it, because I like the pledge into Strategize. Odds that we draw Fire pretty high, or that we draw Hojan. Like, either one of those is excellent for us, and that hand becomes really good. So I think that that's worth keeping, because we get to see so many extra cards with the Strategize. Without Strategize, it's a pretty easy throwback. So now I can Crest so we can go for the Smuggler. I kind of just want to go Strategize here, though. I'd like to see if we can't get the Hojan down. There we go. I'm going to throw one Bearguard back. And I might want to go Hojan and immediately Bearguard, even without the attack, just so that we can make sure we're getting up to the Empower cards that we need. Just so we can, the Empower cards that we need, so that we can get up to the expensive cards we need, so that we can use this Renown. Do I want to take the risk? Play Hojan and wait on Bearguard. I guess the worst case scenario is I can still Red Canyon Smuggler into Bearguard next turn. Alright, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take the risk. Ooh, I like Vargo.
Never stop, never break.
We have 4 for it, and our opponent's in a deck that probably doesn't have an amazing answer to Vargo. Maybe Equivocate. Oh, or a bunch of Desert Marshals. Alright. Yeah, that would be kind of nasty. Slam.
No escape.
So they might be Temporal then. Which, actually, again, Vargo is pretty good against. So we'll play Vargo here first. This does put us up to 5. Little bit sad about our Hojan going away. I took the risk, and I got punished for it appropriately. Ooh. I like this, though. I could just mirror image the Vargo. I mean, it's such a hard card for them to deal with. I think that's what I want to do. It's certainly tempting to wait an Imperial Loyalist, but how do they beat double Vargo? They've already used one of their silences. They've got to have a lot of Equivocates for it to matter. Harsh Rules, Vanquishes, any of those kinds of cards aren't going to matter. Eileen's Choice, like, so what? Harsh Rule, you're not going to get it. End of the story? Nope. Vargo just keeps on trucking. Come on, power card. Undepleted power card. That's okay. I mean, we're still doing the beat down here, so this is good for us. I'm actually tempted to just play one of these, which I normally wouldn't, but a Harsh Rule doesn't really matter here. Harsh Rule is not a big problem for us. Like, what are they going to do? Harsh Rule and get rid of this? So going wide on this board when we have Vargos is not that big of a liability.
Fresh kills make the best pelts.
Yep. Smuggler it is. And I mean, any permafrosts now don't matter because we've got the Palace online. I can't really think of a card that saves them here. And it might not be dead next turn, but I don't know how they get out of this in total. Just too many threats here for them.
Time is far from ended.
Sure. The 10-9 Overwhelm is too much for them, I would say. Yeah, are they actually just dead here no matter what? I'm pretty sure there's no way to block this. Like, they can block, take 10, they can block here, take 6, and then any of these are lethal. Yeah, there's nothing they can do to stop this, they're just dead. Sweet! Hey! That's how deck's supposed to work! We got a great draw that time. So yeah, you can see if you don't get some tough ones there, then you have a pretty nice start sometimes. So I normally don't do extra games, but those 3 games that we had in a row where we just grew no power really didn't sit well with me, so I'm going to try another one. I want to show off the game like we had in my testing. Wow. I guess we can keep this. I really want to get a Svetya down at least once. This might be tough. It could be good, though. With Strategize, anything can happen. It's the reason to keep it. Alright, I like the Crest here. Display of Honor, unfortunately, is probably not what we want right now. Let's Strategize. Almost certainly throwing a Svetya away. I'd love to keep it, but it's just 2 8-drops seems rough.
Welcome, welcome.
Looks like we're probably against, like, Haru aggro. Maybe Haru control. I've seen a few lists that are, like, Alt-Orc, Rune Hammers, and sort of the Sky King, stuff like that. Very possible for them to have that kind of a deck. Mirror Image is neat, but I don't have anything to Mirror Image yet, so we're just going to bottom that. Really stuck without any units here, huh? Our draws have been odd. Just like, this one's now all power, our last one was all... bunch of ones in a row there where we had with just no power at all and all units. Now we're kind of doing the opposite. I really like the Vanquisher's Blade here if we can keep it. So we've got 6 no matter what. We can trade a Fire Sigil and go for Howling Peak. Nice little, like, mid-range Haru control list here. Oh, not willing to trade the Svetya. I'm actually really happy about that. And we are going to snap kill this. They kind of seem like a similar list to ours. And I'll pass. I don't really want to trade our 4/4 double strike for theirs. If they attack in now, I don't think I can even swing. This is fantastic now. Wow. Because Palace is pretty good. Wow, this hand is getting disgusting now. Here's what we wanted to do. Oh, this is gross. 8/8 double strike, Aegis, Endurance. They can attack the Palace, but it technically survives for now. We've got Howling Peak, even if it doesn't, to just immediately smack down that Svetya. Yeah, Strategizes make a big difference. Have a pretty medium hand and get there off of Strategize. A couple more cards. Alright. Can't stop the flyer, but they're just stuck chump blocking over and over. We still get quite a lot of value out of this Palace. Big question now is, how do I want to play this? I think Vargo kill Svetya is a solid play here. I'm hoping that our opponent just waits at least one more turn so I can get our Svetya online. I want to have a big 11-10 Vargo with Aegis, please. One time dealer. They're bravely fighting through this. They've had a really bad draw. Yeah. They had a very tough one. That was obviously not an ideal hand for them. They had to go down to 6. They were pretty unlucky. And we got lucky with our draws. We got very lucky. But in any case, I'm glad that we were able to show off a little bit more of the deck. As you can understand, if that game had gone on a little bit longer, if they'd been able to fight back and forth with us, then we would have had a really nice little Svetya coming down and making just everything in our deck nasty. So I go over this a little bit more in the deck, but there's only, out of 26 units, there's only 4 of them that don't get the Svetya buff. So that is a massive upgrade to our entire deck. Like, when you start dropping 8/7 Hojans, that's a big deal. With Aegis, like, Svetya, when it comes down, is pretty game-ending. And we can copy Svetyas over and over and over. So, is it a little bit of overkill? Yeah, probably, but it's super fun. I like my overkill, what can I say? It might be that we need to have less seats here. I mean, I don't know. I've done a lot of testing with this, and it didn't seem to have these problems. We've got 14 sigils, essentially, so I didn't think it was a big problem to have, like, 4 seats in the deck, but we always seem to have depleted power, so that's something you might want to look at. Like, I don't want to entirely blame bad draws for all of these tough games. I do think that that's certainly a huge part of it, but maybe you can look at adjusting the mana base a little bit. We did try and trim down quite a bit on crests and seats and stuff from what a lot of decks would run, and we've got the cargoes. Maybe we just need to have 4 cargoes, less strategizes, but as you can see from that last game, Strategize is a big thing. I really wanted to try and jam 4. I just couldn't realistically cut cargoes any further than we did already. Like, 27 power is about the lowest I want to go, even with Pledge and with Bearguard Bayonet. Like, it shouldn't be that big of a problem with all of the extra Pledge that we have, but I want to be careful. We need to get up to 6. And obviously we really struggled with that. And we can blame some of the draws on that, but we also want to maybe look at how the deck has built itself. And I love how this deck works when it works. I really like the mirror image plans of, like, copying Vargos forever. There's the temporal kind of decks cannot handle it. There's so many decks that just can't deal with a Vargo, and when you have multiples of them, it just gets awesome. So I like doing things like that with this deck. It's super fun when you can get there. And I hope that you appreciated this. Big shout out again to all the subs and patrons who make these possible, and of course to inkgaming.com, my wonderful sponsor, who makes some very cool custom gaming gear like mouse pads and playmats and all kinds of dice bags, things like that for your tabletop gaming, and even for a lot of your computer gaming stuff. They're getting shirts now as well, and we've got a cool store full of our own merch, and you can get a percentage off if you look down below. We've got a code for that. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll be back again next week.